Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the LANDBANK Mastercard Prepaid Card or the LANDBANK TES Card orientation. So this is part of the LANDBANK TES Card Regional Caravan Series, proudly initiated by the Commission on Higher Education, UNIFAS, and the Land Bank of the Philippines. So we are live here in Zoom and in our Facebook page, CHED Region 1. My name is Gerda Hernandez and I will be your moderator for this event. So as you already know, we have successfully launched a virtual orientation of the LANDBANK TES Card last January 15. So this is perhaps the most promising accomplishment for both the Commission on Higher Education and the Land Bank this year. So it aims to help our student grantees to receive their stipends in a timely, convenient, and reliable method amidst the restrictions of COVID-19. So today, we are excited to share with you three important things. The first one is, what is the TES program? The second one is the application process for the LANDBANK TES Card. And number three is the processes and the features of the LANDBANK TES Card. With that said, let us now begin our orientation with a prayer to be led by one of our regional coordinators, Ms. Rochelle May E. Simsiman, to be followed by the singing of our national anthem.
The Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and the blessing it provides. We thank you for the opportunity to meet virtually today. May you watch over us this day and keep us safe from harm. Create in us the willing spirit and a happy heart. May you bestow your guidance and blessings on this event so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone present today, that each may be able to share what he or she has for your glory and honor. May the activities related to this event be a success through your intervention. Through the same Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Okay, so before we proceed, we would like to acknowledge our participants for today. So we have about 191, almost 200 participants joining us in Zoom. And also we have some participants joining us in Facebook Live. So first of all, we would like to thank Attorney Ryan Esteves for joining us today, and also to our OIC Technical Assistant in Field Operations, Mr. John Andrew Becafria. And also we have participants from the UNIFAS, Land Bank, our HEIs, and student grantees, of course. So we would like to acknowledge our presidents and representatives from the following higher education institutions. So we have from Asia Career College Foundation, Binalatongan Community College, La Union College of Science and Technology, Luna Colleges Incorporated, Metro Dagupan Colleges, Mystical Rose College of Science and Technology, Northern Philippines College of Science and Technology, Northwestern University, Polaris Colleges, Philippine Colleges of Science and Technology, Polytechnic College of La Union, Señor Tesoro College, St. Therese College Foundation, University of Northern Philippines, and Virgen Milagrosa University Foundation. So to formally start our orientation, we would like to invite our vibrant and inspiring director here at CHED Region 1, none other than Dr. Rogelio T. Galera Jr., to give us the welcome message.
To the Executive Director of the UNIFAS Secretariat, Attorney Ryan L. Esteves, to the UNIFAS Technical Assistant for Field Operations, Mr. John Andrew Begefria, to the SVP North NCR Branches Group of Land Bank, Ms. Marilu Villafranca, to the VP Corporate Affairs Group of Land Bank, Ms. Vivian Canonero, school presidents of the different higher education institutions, Land Bank representatives, friends from the UNIFAS Central Office, to our student grantees, a pleasant afternoon to all. I am truly honored to share this momentous event with you as we bring the LANDBANK TES Card to our HCIs and student grantees here in the North. This is a very potent system to effectively and efficiently convey the benefits of being a recipient of RA 10931, particularly the tertiary education subsidy. The LANDBANK TES Card is the innovative solution provided by the Commission on Higher Education and the UNIFAS in partnership, of course, with the Land Bank of the Philippines to address the challenge of disbursing the financial assistance to our student grantees in a safe and reliable method, especially during this pandemic. We hope that through this orientation, we may enlighten you with the Tertiary Education Subsidy Program, the features of the LANDBANK TES Card, and the work processes to be observed in order for you to receive your stipends via the LANDBANK TES Card. True to the UNIFAS motto, ang kalidad ng edukasyon ay abot na, it is our strong desire to provide you, our student grantees, with quality service through the fast and competent process such as the LANDBANK TES Card as you pursue your dreams of finishing tertiary education through this challenging time. I reiterate that COVID-19 should not halt your dreams nor hinder you in accessing your right to quality education. On the contrary, the pandemic should motivate us to find new ways to achieve our goals and aspirations. This situation should provide a compelling purpose for each one of us to better ourselves, improve our well-being, and stay engaged in learning. We hope that you would maximize this golden opportunity given to you to strive and work even harder for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for our nation. As you work hard to build your future, you can count on us here at CHED Regional Office 1 to provide you with all the assistance you need in this transition period. Rest assured that we are always be one with you in your learning journey to success. Again, congratulations to the UNIFAS and to the Land Bank Philippines for this favorable initiative. I wish everyone a meaningful orientation, and once again, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Galera, for your uplifting welcome remarks. Let us now listen to our OIC, Executive Director of the UNIFAS Secretariat, a person of integrity, of clear vision, and high regard for excellence, Attorney Ryan L. Esteves.
Thank you very much to our host, and good afternoon to everyone, and especially to our very energetic and innovative Regional Director of CHED 1, Dr. Galera. I welcome you all to today's orientation on the LANDBANK Mastercard Prepaid Card, or the Tertiary Education Subsidy Card for our grantees. To LANDBANK Branch Banking Sector Head and Executive Vice President Julio Climaco Jr., North NCR Branches Group Head and Senior Vice President Marilu Villafranca, our LBP Quezon City Circle Branch Head Mr. Rodel Kaliwag, other LBP branch heads present, our marketing assistants from the offices of the regional group, to our Unifast regional coordinators, or our RCs, to our CHED officials in the regional office, and Unifast Secretariat staff, good afternoon. I would like to thank and congratulate everyone who assisted and supported us in the recent virtual launch of the LANDBANK TES Card earlier this month. We owe the great success of that event to the collaborative efforts between Unifast and its regional offices with our government financial institution partner, the Land Bank of the Philippines, and of course, with the cooperation of our public and private higher education institutions to promote the event of our respective social media pages, where we have thousands of active followers composed largely of our TES grantees, including students nationwide who are still fervently hoping to be included in the TES program. That event also resulted in numerous queries on how to go about applying for a TES card and other questions related to the release of the TES stipends. That is why we have all gathered here today, this afternoon, to orient ourselves with this new modality in disbursing the financial subsidy. To some of our participants, this is also to prepare and train for the information campaign we will be conducting in the next few days and weeks. Let us fully familiarize ourselves with the process and be knowledgeable on what other services the LANDBANK TES Card can offer to our beneficiaries. I am expecting your active participation in this activity, and hopefully you would be able to cascade the information down to our HCIs and student grantees. I wish you a productive and dynamic orientation session this afternoon. Thank you very much at magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much, Attorney Esteves, for your message and of course for extending your help to our student grantees during this difficult time. So truly, ang kalidad na edukasyon ay abot na. So as mentioned earlier, we are going to discuss 3 important points with you today. So the first one is the TES, or the Tertiary Education Subsidy Program. So to give us a refresher on this, let us welcome our energetic and brilliant Regional Coordinator at CHED Region 1, Ms. Alexis Moira Q. Dolores, to share with us more about the TES.
Good afternoon, everyone. Naimbaga malen kada kayo amin. And to the current 208 participants of the Zoom meeting, good afternoon po. I am tasked to deliver today a refresher on the tertiary education subsidy so that this is to inform yung mga ating grantees then and of course yung mga future applicants for the tertiary education subsidy on the proper procedure and the proper protocols on how to maintain or renew their TES grant. So ayan po. All right. The Tertiary Education Subsidy Program. So ito na nga po. Ano nga ba ang TES? Ang Tertiary Education Subsidy ay isang grants in aid program ng gobyerno upang suportahan ng halaga o bahagi ng gastusin ng mga estudyante sa kanilang pag-aaral sa kolehiyo. Ito ay isa sa mga programa ng RA 10931 o Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act na pinirmahan at pinatupad ni Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte bilang isa sa kanyang mga Priority Legislative Act noong Agosto 3, 2017. Kasama rin rito, of course, yung ating free higher education, yung free technical vocational education and training, at of course, yung ating student loan program. Ano nga ba ang mga benepisyo ng TES? So kung isang bata o isang Filipino student ay grantee ng TES, makakatanggap siya ng 40,000 kung currently enrolled sa state universities and colleges at CHED-recognized local universities and colleges. 60,000 naman per academic year ang matatanggap ng isang batang naka-enroll sa private higher education institutions na nasa CHED registry. Hindi pa po kasama rito ang mga bata o mga student grantee na makakatanggap ng 30,000 pesos bilang assistance sa kanilang sa mga student grantee na persons with disabilities. Okay? So, meron pa pong additional na 10,000 reimbursable amount doon sa mga magti-take ng board. Alright, ayan po. Okay. Sino ang maaaring mag-apply sa test? Unang-una, dapat ang bata ay isang Filipino citizen, isang kwalipikado sa admission at retention requirements ng inyong higher education institutions at hindi pa lumalagpas sa maximum residency policy nito. Pangatlo, hindi pa dapat na-expel ang bata sa kahit na anumang HEI. At pang-apat, dapat ang bata ay currently enrolled sa SUKS, CHED recognized looks at mga programa ng pribadong paaralan na nasa CHED registry. Panglima, dapat kwalipikado po ang bata sa ilalim ng anumang polisiyang ipapatupad ng UNIFAS board sa hinaharap. Okay. Sino ang mga prioridad sa test? Or what is the student prioritization for the tertiary education subsidy? Dahil limitado ang pondong nakalaan para sa test, ang pamamahagi nito ay nakabatay sa sumusunod na kategorya. Unang-una, kasalukuyang test grantee at mga benepisyaryo ng ESG-PPA. Pangalawa po ay estudyante na naka-enroll sa isang pribadong HEI sa munisipyo o syudad na walang SUK and LUK. Pangatlo po, estudyanteng kasama sa listahan ng 2.0 ng DSWD National Household Targeting Office na nakarank sa estimated per capita household income. At pang-apat po ay ang mga estudyanteng hindi bahagi ng listahan ng 2.0 at nakarank ayon sa estimated per capita household income base sa mga dokumento na itinakda ng UNIFAS board. Okay. Ito po, paano po mag-apply sa test? Unang-una po, ang bata ay pagkatapos na mag-enroll ay makikipag-ugnayan sa test focal o scholarship coordinator ng kanyang eskwelahan upang mag-apply o i-apply siya sa test portal. Ang impormasyon ng mga test applicants ay isasubmit ng test focal person sa TES portal. Ano ang mga dokumentong kailangan? Ang mga sumusunod ang mga kasalukuyang kailangan ng mga bagong grantee upang ma-qualify sa nationwide assessment. Unang-una, ang Certificate of Registration or Enrollment. Pangalawa, ang assessment of fees. Pangatlo, ang Certificate of Residency, kung applicable, at ang photocopy ng PWD ID, muli, kung applicable. Okay. Magkano ang test budget? Ito ay may alokasyon na 18.3 billion para sa fiscal year 2020. Ang mga nakapag-benefit sa ating tertiary education subsidy program ay 560,000 students for the school year 2019-2020, amounting to 25.5 billion pesos po. Ngayon, sa pamamagitan ng LANDBANK TES Card, LANDBANK Mastercard Prepaid Card, direkta nang mabibigay ang mga grant ng mga ating mga student grantees sa kanila. So that's it for the refresher of the tertiary education subsidy. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex, for your comprehensive and detailed explanation of the TES program. So now that we are clear on this, allow us to share the second most important information in this orientation, the application process for the LANDBANK TES Card, to be presented by our OIC Technical Assistant for Field Operations and Partnerships, the talented and innovative Mr. John Andrew K. Begafria.
Hi, I'm Andrew Bigafria. I'm the OIC for Field Operations and Partnerships and also handles the ICT team. Today, I'm going to show you the application process for the LANDBANK TES Card. So, ipapakita ko po sa inyo yung overall process on how we apply for the LANDBANK TES Card. And then, ipapakita ko din sa inyo yung mismong Unifast portal kung saan tayo mag-a-apply. So, let's proceed. Ito po yung overall na application process natin. Bali, 6 steps lang po siya. And I'll go through each one of them. In the first step po, Unifast will provide yung mga grantees natin. Provide po ng Unifast yun ng credentials, ng username and password. Para yun po yung gagamitin ng mga grantees to access the Unifast portal. Yung mismong credentials, ibibigay po namin sa aming mga regional coordinators. And then yung regional coordinators, ibibigay po yun sa mga schools. And yung school na po yung magbibigay sa mga estudyante natin, sa mga grantees natin. Ibibigay po natin today, after ng orientation, yung mga credentials ng mga bata. Although continuing grantees lang po muna yung makaka-receive ng credentials since yung mga new grantees natin ng TES, ongoing po yung validation para sa kanila. So in the second step, after yung grantee makaka-receive siya ng credentials, gagamitin niya yung username and password dun to access the Unifast portal. And then dun na siya sa Unifast portal mag-a-apply. And then after that, fill up niya yung mga required information dun for the application, necessary for the application. And then after that, masasabit niya na yung application niya. And with that application, ipaprocess po yan ng Unifast. In the third step, ipaprocess po yan ng Unifast. And then it will conduct validation and verification and also itatransfer sa LANDBANK for processing ng application nila. And when LANDBANK approves the application, LANDBANK will email a link sa bata or sa grantee na nag-apply, a link of the Mastercard Integrated Cardholder Portal. With that, using that link, yun po yung gagamitin ng bata to activate LANDBANK TES Card na account. Once activated na po, the grantee will receive a notification na pwede nila makuha yung LANDBANK TES Card niya. After the application was approved and after the account and after the LANDBANK TES Card was activated, manonotify na po yung bata na pwede nilang kunin yung LANDBANK TES Card niya. Pwede niya i-claim either through the LANDBANK branch near him or her or through the school. Depende po kung anong nilagay ng bata doon sa application. And lastly, after na ma-receive na ng bata yung LANDBANK TES Card, doon na po i-credit ng LANDBANK yung mismong TES grant ng bata. Para diretso na po, directly and safely na po ma-receive ng bata yung kanyang TES through the LANDBANK TES Card. So that's the overall process po. A brief introduction lang po on the LANDBANK TES Card. I won't go into detail since our LANDBANK counterparts will explain it further. But just to provide you context before going to the actual Unifast portal. So first and foremost, what is the LANDBANK TES Card? Ito po ang LANDBANK TES Card, isa po itong electronic prepaid card na ito po yung gagamitin in order to receive TES stipends. So with this, directly and safely na po ma-receive ng bata ang kanyang TES. And the prepaid card can also be used for ATM withdrawals, for payment of purchases, either through point of sale or even through e-commerce where Mastercard is accepted. Anyway, so what are the main features of the LANDBANK TES Card? Ito po ay i-discuss further ng ating LANDBANK counterparts. And then, yan po yung Mastercard Integrated Cardholder Portal kung saan ma-activate ng bata yung kanyang LANDBANK TES Card. And this will also be discussed further by our LANDBANK counterparts. So the question is, where can I claim my LANDBANK TES Card? Saan ba pwedeng ma-claim yung LANDBANK TES Card? So after the application, after apply through the portal, pwede na pong ma-claim either through branches near the grantee or even through the school. Depende po kung anong nilagay ng bata doon sa application niya, kung saan niya gustong kunin. As long as when claiming, ipe-present po ng grantee yung any valid ID, may it be school ID or other government-issued ID po when claiming. So this is a frequently asked question po na palagi namin nare-receive. Laging tinatanong, if may existing LANDBANK card or account na yung bata, kailangan pa rin bang kumuha? Yes, the answer is yes. All TES beneficiaries are required to enroll for the LANDBANK TES Card. Kahit yung may mga existing LANDBANK card na. Why? Because this project, yung LANDBANK TES Card project, is a partnership between LANDBANK and CHED and Unifast. Because itong LANDBANK TES Card lang po, ginawa lang po ito ng LANDBANK for the purpose of receiving TES. So ginawa ng Land Bank ito para may way yung mga grantees natin, yung mga estudyante natin to easily receive the TES grants. Although, yung prepaid card naman, magagamit natin kahit sa anong transactions as will be explained. The features will be further explained by our Land Bank counterparts. But the TES grants lang po, doon lang po papasok sa Land Bank TES card. And hindi na po sa ibang card. How do I load funds on my Land Bank TES card? There are 3 ways. Pwede pong through Land Bank or any Land Bank branches or any Land Bank agent banking partners, or through the LinkBiz portal or through the Land Bank mobile banking app. Ayan, I won't go into details na po sa mga ibang questions dito since ibibigay naman po ito na infographics sa ating schools. So how do I apply for a replacement? May mga apat tayong documents dyan or more, depende po sa situation. And so for more questions and concerns, you may call these hotlines po or you may message us at Unifast Official. Let's proceed to the actual Unifast portal where the grantee would apply. So pupunta tayo sa unifast.gov.ph. After that, ito na po yung website ng ating Unifast. And then pupunta po tayo dito sa portal, i-click po natin yan. And then we would click the LANDBANK Mastercard Prepaid Card application. Ayan, click natin yan. So as I've said earlier, Unifast will provide the credential sa bata. So once the grantee will receive the credential, yung username and password po na yun na binigay ng Unifast, yun po yung i-input niya dito sa username and then sa password, which is nalagay ko na po yung sa akin. So lalagin ko na lang po. Click the login and then ito po yung marireceive niya. Kailangan po natin mag-agree sa terms and conditions. Agree lang po. And then maglaland po siya dito na page, which is a very important information and instructions para sa bata when filling up the form. Ayan. Kailangan basahin and kailangan intindihin ng grantee ito to avoid any inconveniences in the future. After that, kung nabasa na ng grantee yan, click niya lang po yung Land Bank form. After that, ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina. So makikita po natin dito, may option po yung bata. Kung gusto niyang i-pick up sa school niya, which is automatically detected po sa ating system, pwede niyang i-check yan. Once check yan, pwede niyang i-pick up. Mapipick up niya po yung LANDBANK TES card niya doon sa school niya. May option din yung bata. Pwede niyang i-pick up sa nearest LANDBANK branch po. So for example, I'm in Northern Mindanao. I'll click that. And then, for example, the nearest branch is the Cagayan de Oro. The grantee can proceed now on filling up the personal information na fields. As you can see po, may mga fields na po tayo na nafi-fill up dito, which is automatically detected by our system based on the previous data ng ating TES grantee. So the grantee will fill up the first name, fill up niya yung middle name niya, and then yung last name niya, and then the date of birth, and all of this information po, marital status, place of birth, fill niya po yan, ID number, and sa teen po, if wala pong teen yung bata, pwede pong ilagay is N/A. And then the mother's name, mother's middle name, and mother's last name. And then ito po, very important, when uploading your picture, click nyo lang po yung select na image, and then piliin nyo na po yung file, and pwede nyo pong i-crop. Ayan. Very important po na JPEG file yung i-upload natin since our system won't accept any file types po. So kahit pa PNG yan or GIF, hindi po i-accept ng system natin yan. JPEG file lang po. So let's be cautious on that. Upload po natin yon. For the ID, upload natin yung ID na front image. Same po, JPEG pa rin na file. Attach po natin. And same for the back part of our ID, upload din po natin na JPEG file po. Ayan. So after na fill up na po ng ating grantee, itong mga required information, let's proceed to the address. Let's select the province. Kung manonotice niyo po, automatically po na-detect yung zip code, and then the city, and then the barangay, and the house number. So yung zip code po, automatic po siyang nag-detect. Pag once you select the province, automatic po siyang automatic po siyang nag-i-input dyan. However, may exception for Metro Manila na province, kailangan po nating manually i-input po pag you're in Metro Manila na province. So dito sa permanent address din, pwede mong i-check yan kung same lang naman ng address. Pwede mong i-check yan. But if iba po yung present address nyo, pwede pong baguhin yan. Pwede nyo pong specific na ilagay kung ano pong address nyo. But for example, the grantee, the same lang yung permanent address niya with the present address. I-check na po yan. And then with the contact information, ito po, very critical na ilagay po natin yung last 10 digits lang po ng ating number. So start with 9 and then the number po. And let's also put our email address, a very critical information. Iwasan po natin na yung email na gagamitin natin is madaming special characters or my special characters like dash or any special characters or unique characters. In our pilot testing, may mga instances po na may mga na-rejected na application because ang reason sa system na nare-reject po yung mga special characters. So, in email address, yung special characters, iwasan po natin, even in our names and in our mother's names. Yun po yung usual na napapansin namin sa pilot testing na nare-reject. It's very important that the student review the information to avoid inconveniences for in the application. So, after that, once na okay na po kayo doon, na-review na po, na-finalize yun na po yun, i-click nyo lang po yung save na button. After that, masisave na po yung information nyo. Kung sure na po kayo sa information nyo, click nyo na po yung finalize. Yan. And then, click nyo po yung continue kung finalize nyo na po talaga. Take note po, once you click continue, hindi nyo na po may edit yung mga fields doon. Ma-finalize na po siya. Make sure that the information na provided are correct. So once you click continue, ito po yung lalabas. You already finalized your information. And you can now view the generated form. So rin i-click yan. Ito po. Ito na po yung magiging copy ninyo. Ito po yung magiging personal copy nyo. Pwede nyo po ipakita yan when claiming at the LANDBANK branch. Ito po yung generated na forms na finalapan nyo. For your copy na lang po ito. So that's it. After po yan, pag nakita nyo po ito, that means na your application is now being processed na po. So just a recap, a very important note lang po. When filling up the form, ito po, yung i-upload po natin na file, only JPEG or JPEG file, yung .jpeg po, na file formats, yung accepted lang po na ating system. And then next, iwasan po natin yung special characters like dash and dot in the grantee's name and even in the mother's name to avoid po yung inconveniences sa ating application. Yun po yung nagiging cause na nare-reject yung application ng bata. So if grantee has no T number, pwede na i-type ng N/A in the teen field. And in address part, kung Metro Manila siya na province, dapat niya pong manually i-input yung correct zip code. And then in the mobile number, yung last 10 digits only lang po yung pwede niyang i-input. And then in the email address, iwasan po natin yung dash or any special characters since yun po yung testing din po. Yun po yung nagiging cause ng rejection ng application or naging invalid yung email. Let's be safe and just input the email po na less yung mga ganong characters. So after that, if all necessary fields are filled up, click save and then finalize to generate the application form. So when you click the finalize button, hindi nyo na po may edit yung information niyo. So make sure na you review and review the information na correct po talaga lahat ng information na nilagay po ninyo. And then ito po, after po ng application, what happens is yung application niyo po, ipaprocess po yun ng Unifast. After that, ipapasa po namin sa LANDBANK, which is ipaprocess din po nila yung application nyo. LANDBANK will give us the list kung sino po yung na-approve na application and sino po yung na-rejected. Maybe because may mga mali po or errors sa kanilang mga required information. And we will give that list also to the school, to your school, so that the grantee can know kung approved ba yung application niya or rejected ba. And also, pwede din makita ng estudyante yun through, since may credentials na po yung grantee, pwede na po yung tingnan sa kanyang Unifast portal kung na-approve ba yung application niya or na-rejected ba yung application niya. Once rejected, marireset po yung information nyo and you can edit again. So to make sure and to correct yung mga errors ninyo, and pwede nyo pong ma-correct yun and pwede nyo pong ma-finalize yung information so that your application would be resubmitted po and will be processed po immediately again. So basically, yan po yung Unifast portal natin and yan po yung process on how we apply for the LANDBANK TES Card. So hopefully sa ating mga grantees na nanonood and sa ating mga HEI focals, hopefully nakuha po natin kung paano po yung run-through natin ng portal, and hopefully naiintindihan po natin since those are very critical information po when we apply for the LANDBANK TES Card. For your questions and clarifications po, let's reserve it for the open forum later. And thank you for listening, and see you on the open forum. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Andrew, for your assurance and for giving us the overview of the application process and for guiding us through the TES portal. Okay, so to our student grantees, please don't worry because your focal persons here in Region 1 will provide you with all the information and the assistance that you need. Okay, so before we proceed, let us first listen to a message from the first Vice President of the LANDBANK North Luzon Branches Group, Maria Belma T. Turla.
Thank you, Mr. De Hernandez. I am clear. Hello. To our partners from CHED Region 1, led by Regional Director Dr. Rogelio Galera, Jr., Unifast Executive Director, Attorney Ryan Esteves. Maray na hapon po. I'm also from Bicol. Unifast OIC for Field Operations and Partnership, Mr. Andrew Bigafreya. CHED Regional Directors, Officers, and Employees. LANDBANK North Luzon Branches Group, Senior Vice President Marilu Villafranca. Vice President Vivian Canonero of our Corporate Affairs Group, LANDBANK Region 1 Branch Managers, representatives from higher education institutions, tertiary education subsidiary student grantees, colleagues and public service, good afternoon to everyone. We are happy to partner with CHED and Unifast in the distribution of the tertiary education subsidy through the LANDBANK Mastercard Prepaid Card. LANDBANK presence in all of the 4 provinces of Ilocos region with 23 branches and 8 branch lights complemented by 157 ATMs across the region will benefit the test beneficiaries in receiving their monthly stipend in a timely, safe, and convenient manner. With our collaboration and strong partnership, coupled with timely information campaign about the LANDBANK TES Card, we are confident that this milestone project will continue to be a huge success. The participation of all our LANDBANK managers in Pangasinan, La Union, Ilocos Sur, and Ilocos Norte in this orientation is a testament of our support and commitment to this project. Our partnership for the test program also forms part of LANDBANK's support initiatives for the education sector in responding to the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. LANDBANK also launched 2 new loan programs designed to keep higher education institutions operational and for students to remain in school. First is the access to academic development to empower the masses towards endless opportunities or ASIDEMI lending program that assists private academic institutions to carry out a study now, pay later arrangement for their students. Second is the students' loan for tuitions toward upliftment of education for the development of the youth or I-Study lending program directed at students and families in need of financial assistance to enroll for the school year. As mentioned by LANDBANK President and CEO Cecilia C. Borromeo during the virtual launching of the test card, LANDBANK is one with CHED and Unifast in extending responsive government support services to students and academic institutions alike towards expanding access to inclusive quality education. With that, we thank you for your continued trust and confidence in LANDBANK, and we look forward to many more fruitful partnerships with CHED and Unifast. Thank you and have a pleasant afternoon to all.
Okay, so thank you very much, ma'am, for your message and for giving us updates on the Land Bank. So we are truly grateful for your partnership with us to assist our student beneficiaries. Okay, so now, before we proceed, we would like to remind everyone watching, okay, that this is the TES or LANDBANK TES Card orientation. Okay, and now let us proceed to the third important information we want to share with you today. So we are going to discuss the features of the LANDBANK Mastercard Prepaid Card or the LANDBANK TES Card. And to help us with this and also to address our frequently asked questions, we would like to welcome our Senior Marketing Specialist of the LANDBANK North Luzon Branches Group, Ms. Rosanne Pirimit.
Naimbag amalom kada kayo amin, masanta sa nayangarom jud si kayon amin. So I am Rosanne Pirimit of the LANDBANK North Luzon Branches Group, and I would like to thank all of you for giving us the opportunity to present the features of the LANDBANK TES Mastercard Prepaid Card. LANDBANK takes pride of being able to become part of the nation's program in ensuring the timely provision of quality education to competent and deserving tertiary students through the CHED Unifast by making available a prepaid card product which will give them easy access to the tertiary education subsidies or the TES. So this LANDBANK TES Mastercard Prepaid Card is a non-deposit prepaid card wherein our TES student grantees will receive their TES. This LANDBANK TES Mastercard Prepaid Card can be used by the student grantees to pay for their purchases either through any point of sale terminals or online. They can also withdraw their TES through the ATMs and transfer funds from one LANDBANK TES Mastercard Prepaid Card to another Mastercard Prepaid Card. They can also receive remittance abroad sent through the Mastercard Send. And lastly, they can use the card to save funds for later use. By having access to affordable and reliable transaction accounts, the student grantees will be able to formally enter the country's financial system, of which students form part of the unbanked and the underserved. The basic features of the LANDBANK TES Mastercard Prepaid Card are as follows. First, there's no maintaining balance requirement since this is not a deposit account. This is also in Philippine peso currency denomination and is EMV chip enabled. This is also contactless for tap-to-pay payments and is valid for 5 years. This has an aggregate credit limit of 100,000 pesos per month per cardholder. This simply means that the load or balance of the TES Mastercard Prepaid Card should not exceed 100,000 pesos per month per cardholder. And lastly, online usage of the LANDBANK TES Mastercard Prepaid Card is secure with 3D Secure, a technology feature which only allows the authorization of an online transaction after the correct one-time PIN or OTP has been supplied. The OTP will be sent to the registered mobile number of the TES student grantee. The LANDBANK TES Mastercard Prepaid Card, from the name itself, is Mastercard branded. Hence, it can be used in all the ATMs, point-of-sale terminals, and online purchases, not only here in the Philippines, but anywhere in the world. All they have to do is just to look for the Mastercard logo, and they can already perform their transaction. And in cases where our student grantees feel the urge of reloading their LANDBANK TES Mastercard Prepaid Card, they have the following options. First, they can reload through our LANDBANK branches and through our agent banking partners nationwide, subject to payment of over-the-counter or service fees. They may also opt to reload their card via the link this portal, which is free of charge. If the student grantees or their parents, relatives, or friends have existing LANDBank deposit accounts, they can perform transfer of funds through the link this portal. The student grantees who are also LANDBank TES Mastercard holders will be given access to the following self-care portals. First is the exclusive pass to the Mastercard Integrated Cardholder portal, developed and powered by Mastercard, wherein the student grantees can do a number of transactions such as balance inquiry, which also reflects the card details, transaction history, which can be viewed as to the number of transactions that we choose. But apart from that, our student grantees can download it either in PDF file or XLS format. They can also transfer funds from one LANDBank TES Mastercard Prepaid card to another. They can also block or unblock their cards. And they can use the usage management controls for e-commerce and international transactions. And lastly, they can set and change their PINs through the said portal. The student grantees login credentials in the Mastercard Integrated Cardholder portal shall be emailed by the Mastercard system once LANDBank has successfully opened the grantees' transaction accounts. And in case our student grantees or their parents are existing users of the LANDBank mobile banking app, they can register their LANDBank TES Mastercards to perform balance inquiry, transaction history, fund transfer, PIN set, and PIN change. So flashed on your screens are the fees associated with the TES Mastercard Prepaid card. So the initial cards to be issued are free of charge. However, replacement and renewal fees will be subject to a 150 peso fee and other needed documentary requirements. Reloading fee is 20 pesos, while balance inquiry and cash withdrawals via LANDBank ATMs is free of charge. On the other hand, balance inquiry and cash withdrawal via other banks' ATMs are subject to 1 peso and 10 peso fees respectively. We at LANDBank are continuously developing features for the LANDBank TES Mastercard Prepaid card to serve you better. And here's what's up and coming for this year. So very soon, our student grantees can easily change their PIN via the LANDBank ATMs. The LANDBank TES Mastercard Prepaid card can be used in the automated fare collection, a cashless fare payment system, and all sorts of transportation in the country, developed jointly by LANDBank and the DOTR, and the LANDBank Pay app, a one-stop app for everyone powered by LANDBank. So ito pong LANDBank Pay app is similar to GCash or PayMaya. So next po is that non-LANDBank MBE users can register their LANDBank TES Mastercard Prepaid cards in the LANDBank mobile banking app upon downloading and installation. And should our CHED Unifast grantees invite their friends to get this LANDBank Mastercard Prepaid card, the cardholder onboarding will be available within the year via our digital onboarding system, which is an online account opening system of LANDBank. So that ends my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them later during our open forum. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ms. Roseanne, for your coherent explanation and also for sharing with us what we can expect from LANDBank in the future. Okay, so that wraps up our orientation on the LANDBank Mastercard Prepaid card. Okay, so again, we talked about the TES program, the application process for the LANDBank TES card, as well as the features. Okay, so once again, we would like to thank our participants in today's event, joining us from Facebook Live, So there are about 600 participants joining us, and also in Zoom. And also, we would like to thank the school presidents and their representatives from our HEIs joining us today. So now is our time to have the open forum. So we are now opening the floor for your questions, and our OIC technical assistant for field operations and partnerships, Mr. Andrew K. Begafria. Okay, so do we have anyone? Oh, you may use the raise your hand feature in your Zoom, or you may also type in your questions in the chat box, and we will try to address them. Okay, so we have here a question. Good afternoon po. Sa TES LANDBANK ATM directly deposited na po doon sa account ng bata. Paano po kung may balance pa siya sa tuition fee niya at di niya po binayad sa school? Sir Andrew, may we request, we would like to hear from Sir Andrew.
Hi, good afternoon. May we hear you naman po. Okay naman po yung audio ko.
Okay po, sir.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Region 1, for the presentation. To answer the question po, yes po, yung sa ating, I just want to emphasize, na ito po yung lagi kong ina-emphasize sa ating regional orientations, that the LANDBANK TES Card, the implementation of this project, is just, we are just following po the currently existing guidelines. So we are just mainly actually realizing and streamlining the already existing guidelines of our TES disbursement. So kung mapapansin niyo po sa ating sharing agreement, kung mababasa niyo po dun sa ating guidelines, no, sa ating TES guidelines, nakasaad po dun na yung supposedly dapat talaga yung portion for the student, diretso sa student, and yung portion sa school, diretso sa school. Kung babasahin ko na lang po yung sa ano natin, provisions natin guidelines sa 4.5 sa sharing agreement. I think it's in the last two parts, no, 4.5.2.2. Sinabi po dito, if the share of the private HEI is less than the actual tuition and other school fees or unpaid tuition and other school fees for the current term, the student shall be obliged to pay the difference in accordance with the policy of the private HEI. In no case shall the unpaid tuition and other school fees be automatically deducted from the TES share of the grantee. If the grantee has fully paid the tuition and other school fees for the term, the private HEI shall no longer be entitled to its allotted share. Hence, the grantee shall be given the full amount of the TES. So yan po yung guidelines na pina-follow natin. Nag-i-exist na po yung guidelines na yan. Dati pa po, through this LANDBANK TES Card, we are just merely actualizing and realizing yung provisions. Kasi dati we are limited by our mechanisms and systems, kaya pinapadaan muna natin sa HEI. Kaya yung mga HEI, nakukuha nila agad yung outstanding balances ng mga bata. But in our actual provisions, nakasaad po doon na hindi po dapat ganon. Dapat hindi po siya, in no case shall the unpaid tuition and other school fees be automatically deducted from the TES share of the grantee. Yan po yung nakasaad sa provisions. So in our implementation na lang po of our LANDBANK TES Card, doon po dinediretso na lang po natin sa student, yung para sa student, and sa school, yung para sa school. Now, we acknowledge our partner HEIs. Of course, you are our partner in implementing the programs. So we acknowledge your concerns. We also acknowledge your concerns about regarding that concern. Sinabi naman po dyan, don't worry po, sinabi naman po dyan sa provision that the student shall be obliged to pay the difference in accordance with the policy of the private HEI. So mababasa niyo po dyan, di ba may sharing agreement po tayo na kailangan pirmahan. May sharing agreement po tayo na kailangan pirmahan between the school and the student. Importante po yun, na mapirmahan po yun between both parties, itong sharing agreement na to. Mas importante kung mas mabuti, no, kung mapa-notaryo niyo yun para at least may hold talaga tayo. And we can oblige the student to really pay the difference. And meron din dyang portion in accordance with the policy of the private HEI. So the HEI, if hindi pa talaga kayo confident doon sa sharing agreement na pinirmahan niyo between the student and the school, nakasada na po dyan in accordance with the policy of the private HEI. So you can make your own policy, the private HEI, to really secure and oblige the grantee to pay the difference. But there's naman po, no, itong mga guarantees naman po natin, we can all, yung wala nang po sa kaibahan sa ating ibang students na nag-enroll din. So ano po yung mechanisms ng HEI natin to oblige yung ibang students natin na nag-enroll to really pay their outstanding bills nila, tuition and other school fees. Yun din naman po, same lang din naman po pwede natin gawin for our grantees. No? Kasi they are just students din naman. Similar lang din naman yung situation nila na nag-enroll sila and may babayaran silang tuition and other school fees. So hopefully po, yun nakaprovide po ako ng clarification on that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Andrew, for your response. We have here another question from Facebook Live. Okay. Tanong lang po, need po ba na ang school ID na gagamitin sa pag-apply para sa LANDBANK Mastercard ay sa ngayon na school year 2021? Kasi po kami, expired na po ang school ID namin. Hindi po kami binigyan ng bagong school ID for the year 2020 to 2021. So expired na daw po yung school ID nila, sir.
If ano naman po sila, if they are actually enrolled, wala naman po siguro magiging problema pa. Kung since enrolled naman kayo, wala naman problema kung magpa-renew kayo or magpa-update kayo ng IDs ninyo sa OSA ninyo, or at least the school can provide an electronic copy of the updated ID since i-upload na lang naman po yung electronic copy sa portal natin. Hindi naman po kailangan yung physical ID. So if you are really an enrolled grantee, if enrolled naman po kayo sa school ninyo for this school year, you can request your OSA or your Student Affairs Office or anong office in concern to release the ID. Or you can, or our HEIs also, our HEI focals here can also help our students na hindi pa nakapag-update dahil sa pandemic to at least release kahit yung anong man lang, yung electronic copy man lang na updated ID nila. To really update, para updated yung maibigay nila na copy of their IDs. Kasi LANDBANK, we are just merely following on the rules and also procedures, no, kasi opening of a bank account to eh. So we are deferring to LANDBANK sa rules nila, kaya heavily based yung ating portal dun sa rules and procedures ng opening of account sa LANDBANK. Kaya very important na updated yung ID na ibibigay din nila para at least ma-verify namin and then ma-verify din po ng LANDBANK yung identity ng bata. So yun po, let's work hard on hopefully na best efforts on on getting the updated ID. Kasi pag expired na po yung ID, baka medyo magka-problema po tayo sa application.
Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Andrew. So as much as possible, we have to get our updated IDs or we get some document from our school. Okay, so we have here another question, or do we have anyone from Zoom who would like to ask a question for Sir Andrew?
Hi, may I ask a few questions? This is from Lyceum Northwestern University. Dr. Luz, pwede?
Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay. So first thing, is this going to be applicable to the school year that just passed, 2020-2021? Because tapos na yung pagpaprocess namin ng mga eskwelahan, di ba? Ng mga grantees. So is it applicable for the past school year or for the coming school year? And that's one. Number two, in the past school years, we were allowed to, because some tuition fees are higher, much higher, especially for the medical and the allied health, nursing, medtech, like that. They are higher than the 20,000 that's being given. But we were allowed through the sharing agreement to take it off from the portion that is supposed to be for the student. So are you saying that that cannot be done anymore, or that is still fine to do that? Because obliging the student, that's easy, right? But actually implementing how they will be obliged is another thing. So that if we don't do it up front, it is very hard to be running after the fees that they're supposed to be paying. Never mind the miscellaneous fees on top of the shortfall in the actual tuition fee. So yun lang. That's my second question. My third question is, how long does this processing take? From the time that they apply in the portal to the time that they get approval, and from that time to get their ATM card. Okay. And number 4, what is the role of the HEI here? Are they students still going to go through the HEI for, they have to enroll first, that I understand. But what about the processing of all the documents that they need? Because right now we do a lot of hand-holding the students. And students, a lot of them do not know about Unifast. So we go out there and tell them about the Unifast. So all that campaigning to get the students, to provide wider access. Are we still going to do that, or we will just leave it up to the student to apply for Unifast? It's one thing applying for Unifast and another thing applying for the card, right? Those are two different processes, or are they integrated? Right now, HEI opens one portal, encodes all the grantees that they have campaigned for and collected documents on, pass them on to CHED row. Okay? And so is that role going to be not anymore the HEI's role? Is that now going to be directly done to the Unifast TES portal?
Okay.
Okay. So those are my questions. Thank you very much.
Okay. So thank you, ma'am, for your questions. Just to confirm, you have 4 questions po ba, ma'am? 4 questions?
Not for now. I have 4. So sobra na muna yan.
Okay.
To give a chance to the others.
Okay. So we'd just like to ask you to please repeat the first question so that Sir Andrew can address her.
Okay na po.
Sir Andrew can respond.
Okay na.
Nag-take note
Magandang
po.
memorya niya eh. Mas maganda memorya mo kaysa sa akin. Sige.
Thank you, ma'am, for that.
Okay, thank you.
Comprehensive question, ma'am. Thank you po sa pag-release ng mga questions para at least comprehensive din yung details natin, information with our participants today. So the first question, ma'am, kung anong academic year siya i-implement.
Yes.
So our target po, our current target is yung second SEM, AY 2020-2021 na grant, na TES grant. Yung grant for AY 2020-2021 second SEM, doon na po namin ipapasok sa LANDBANK TES Card. Yun po yun. So the first SEM for AY 2020-2021, we would implement that, we would disburse the fund to our usual way po, yung ginagawa natin dati. Yung usual na ginagawa natin, we disperse through checks or through cash or through their other LANDBANK accounts. So yun po yun, through the HEI po muna yun. ulit on the usual way, yung first sem. But in the second sem, yun na po yung current target namin na yung second sem na grant for AY 2020-2021, doon na po siya papasok sa LANDBANK TES Card. So that's why we're encouraging our participants today, that after our orientation, we campaign and we encourage our students to apply agad para by the time na matapos namin yung processing for the second sem ng AY 2020-2021 na grant, may hawak na po na LANDBANK TES Card, physical card yung ating mga grantees. So second question, paano ma-oblige yung ating mga grantees, no? Yung mga outstanding bills nila, how can we oblige to make them pay, no? And if yung sa sharing agreement na pwedeng mabawas, I think ma'am, sa yung sharing agreement po natin nakasaad naman po doon. Yun lang pong nakasaad sa ating guidelines. Kung ano yung nakasulat na sharing agreement sa ating guidelines, yun po din yung sharing agreement na pwede natin gamitin to be agreed by the student and the HEI, kasi di po tayo pwedeng mag-divert or mag-iba sa guidelines na sinet ng board, ng UNIFAS board. So sa minention po kanina, yung ating pong guidelines, sinabi po doon, no? So na-mention po doon na the school can oblige the student to pay the difference una through the sharing agreement, and the second is through the in accordance with the policy of the private HEI. So the HEI can make their own policy to really oblige the student to pay. But in no case shall the unpaid tuition and other school fees be automatically deducted from the TES share of the grantee. So yan po yung guidelines na approved by the board, and yan po yung guidelines na ipa-follow po natin since yan po yung approved ng board natin ng UNIFAS. So with that po, I think the answer, no, to that question po, kung ano po yung usual na ginagawa natin sa ating non-grantees, non-TES grantee students, kung paano natin sila pinapa-oblige to pay, I think the same mechanism naman po ang system and policies should apply to our grantees. So wala naman po silang kaibahan sa ating mga non-grantees na student, kasi kung paano po natin sila pinapa-oblige yung non-grantees natin na students na nag-enroll din, I think that's also the way that we can also oblige the same way that we can also oblige our grantees. But at least in our grantees, meron tayong sharing agreement na pwede natin in-authorize, and then meron din po tayong existing guidelines approved by the board na pwede natin mapa-oblige yung students. So the third question is timeline. So the timeline for this rollout of this project po, sa discuss po kanina, may phase, I think dalawang phase tayo, no, na pagdadaanan. Una, yung application phase, and then yung pangalawa, verification and validation phase, and I think may third pa pala, no, yung production and delivery na phase. So for the first phase, no, we are in the application phase. We are actually finalizing the guidelines, no, para ma-set natin yung pinaka-deadline talaga of application, para yung may certain timeline lang tayo for applications, no, to receive applications na mapa-apply natin, kasi yung binigay po natin na provide na po natin sa ating region, sa Region 1, yung credentials na ating mga student grantees, that's just for the continuing grantees po muna. Kasi patapos pa lang po yung validation natin for the new grantees of TES. So yung mga continuing grantees natin, yun po muna yung pinrovide na natin ng credential. So yun po muna yung i-prioritize natin na mag-apply agad once they receive their credentials. So the credentials will be given, nasa CHED na po, and they would, I think, release it to the HEI focus and the HEIs after this orientation. So once you receive that po, you can give that to the proper, or to the proper owner of that credential po na grantee natin, and then they can apply immediately para at least yung application po nila, once mapabilis po yung application nila, we can also process that, mabilis din pag-process namin dyan and validate, and then mapasa na po namin sa LANDBANK. Kasi once LANDBANK receives that, ito na po yung timeline na binigay nila. The estimated timeline po nila, once they receive the applications from us, minimum of 10 days and maximum of 40 days. But it depends po sa layo and difficulty na maabot yung mga ibang lugar. But yun po yung yun po yung estimated timeline nila, minimum of 10 days or maximum of 40 days po. Yung from the receipt of the application to their production and then their delivery of the card. So yun po yung estimated timeline. And then we will update our region kasi we're just waiting, finalizing lang sa signature of our executive director to really set the timeline for the applications, for receiving the applications. But at least we can fast track din also since medyo na-identified naman po natin yung ating mga continuing grantees and we already have their contacts and details also so we can reach them immediately. Of course, with the help of our HEI partners. No? And I think the last question was, ano na yung magiging role ng ating HEIs and HEI focus no? In terms of applications sa Unifast programs, sa TES, and other programs offered by Unifast. And separate ba siya sa LANDBANK na TES application? Okay, so yes po. Separate po yung so yung LANDBANK TES card po natin na application are for the continuing grantees natin. Now, so since sila yung continuing grantees natin, binigyan natin sila ng credentials para to apply for to get the actual card. So ang makakakuha lang nun is yung kung TES grantee ka na. So you need to first apply for the kung qualified ka or eligible ka maging TES grantee, mag-a-apply ka. You need that you need to be an eligible TES grantee muna before you can apply for the LANDBANK TES card. So of course, we also need I think because that's we are developing a system also, but for now we really need our partner HEIs to accommodate kasi kayo po yung pinakamalapit sa students and kayo po ang pinaka-accessible sa mga students. So we need to, and then kayo din po yung may access and may authority to really identify kung sino yung enrolled and kung sino yung enrolled na students and sino yung to really certify also kung enrolled pa ba yung grantees natin or hindi. So of course, yung application po will still remain, yung role po ng application for the TES grantees na gusto mag-apply or students na gusto maging TES grantees. Sa IHA pa rin po pupunta for applying for the Unifast programs. But in terms of LANDBANK TES card application, ang magiging role na po natin ng HEI is to just assist and provide the grantees with their credentials kasi sila na po mismo ang mag-a-apply. Yun po yung na-raise na questions din po usually sa ibang regional orientations. No? Pwede ba daw ang HEI or ang HEI focal lang mag-apply in behalf of the student? So our heads, ang heads dito sa servicing branch namin sa LANDBANK, the answer was hindi po pwede. Hindi po talaga pwede kasi this is an opening of an account. So hindi po pwede na ibang tao yung mag-open ng account. So the grantee should be the one to open their own accounts. So kailangan yung credentials na naibigay po sa inyo, maibigay po yun sa grantees or at least yung ating regional, ating region, if may better po na way na we can give it directly to our grantees, na mas better po yun. But if yung better din po na if you find it efficient na pwede natin ipadaan sa ating HEI so that they can also distribute it immediately sa mga students kasi sila yung may direct access sa mga students nila, then that's also good. But that's important po to emphasize na let's observe the Data Privacy Act in distributing these credentials kasi this is very sensitive information and data of our grantees. No? So yun po, their roles, yun po similar lang po sa application. Our roles will still be the same. HEI in the application, but in terms of application for the LANDBANK TES card, we can guide our grantees, we can provide them with the credentials, with the desired information. Kaya po ito yung purpose ng ating orientation today so that you can be equipped with the knowledge and the information para ma-relay natin. At the end of the day, sila po yung apply for the LANDBANK TES card. And then I think ang i-add ko na lang po na isang role pa ng ating HEIs for this project, for this implementation. I think this is one way also to address the concern raised by Ma'am kanina, yung paano natin mapapa-oblige yung ating student grantees to really pay their outstanding difference. meron yung ano po natin, implementation po natin nitong LANDBANK TES Card, yung disbursement po nito, if for the current, no, kung real time naman in the current academic year, yung disbursement niya, like for example, kung second sem na ngayon, tapos natapos namin yung processing ng second sem na grants, no? So real time, current academic year yung disbursement, magiging monthly po yung disbursement. Hindi po siya lahat ng amount ng TES diretso sa bata. Hindi po siya ganun. Yung monthly po natin yan to have a withholding mechanism. And that's why ito yung magiging role ng ating HEIs because yung land bank magbe-base na po siya sa list na ibibigay namin sa kanila. Monthly list na ibibigay namin sa land bank. And then kung ano po yung list na binibigay ng land bank na binigay namin sa land bank, yun lang po yung didisbursan ng grants na land bank. So yung list na yun, naka-base po yun to check if sinong mga grantees ang enrolled pa ba, kasi may mga situations tayo, may mga grantees tayo na in the middle of the SEM or in the middle of the SEM, either nag-drop or hindi na nag-enroll in the next SEM. So syempre, tigil na natin, we-withhold na natin yung TES grants nun sa mga bata. So that's why it's very important for our schools, no, HEI focus and our HEIs to monitor. Siguro yun yung magiging additional na role natin to monitor our student grantees, no, kung nag-enroll pa ba sila or nag-drop na ba sila. Kasi you can reflect that immediately to us para ma-reflect din namin agad sa aming sa land bank para at least ma-prevent, may withhold nila yung TES grants na hindi dapat ibibigay sa mga nag-drop na. So isa din yan sa mga pwedeng mechanisms natin to implement or to really oblige our grantees to pay. Kasi di ba may policies naman din ang school, no, pag hindi nakabayad yung grantees or may policies din yung school kung for a maximum number of absences madadrop na yung student. So I think we would appreciate it, no, and we would also develop a system para ma-streamline yan yung reporting and monitoring of your students para immediately we can also report that to LANDBANK, no, para we can withhold the amounts, no, the TES grantees na hindi na dapat bigyan. So yun po, hopefully I have provided some clarifications on that of your questions and concerns. Salamat po.
Yeah, CHED, good afternoon. Sir Andrew.
Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Yes, this is Dr. Romedy Asis from Metro Dagupan Colleges, also from Pangasinan. I think the predicament of all private schools is the honesty of our students relative to paying the remaining balance. For now, we are a little bit lenient with our grantees in terms of, especially we are on a blended learning program. So those who are on a full modular or full printed modules, we do not withhold their modules because we have been assured that they are TES grantees. So meaning, even if they have, some of them, sir, actually, they do not have anything to pay in advance. No? So what they're saying, ma'am, TES naman ako. So we were holding that, we were banking on that thing, that grant nila, that the school is hopeful to be managing the second SEM. But considering the new development, there are some questions that were raised in the Zoom chat. Will the notification of the release of the TES be simultaneous? Meaning, if it's going to be released for the school, will it also be the same for the students? Yun muna, sir. I have actually 3 questions.
Sige po, ma'am. To answer it directly po, we will provide po yung sa, di ba po may portal tayo for the HEIs. No? We are working on integrating, no, a module, siguro additional module on it para ma-notify din po kayo na your grantees, yung grantees in your school have received their grants para at least ma-notify din po yung school.
Okay,
then,
sir.
Yung grantee din po ma-notify na na-receive na po nila.
Okay, sir. Second question, sir, kasi we mentioned earlier about the UNIFAS guidelines that the school is not really authorized to withhold anything above of what is due to us, no? So which means now in this situation, if the student, for example, was able to get and receive the TES grant nila but did not pay to the school, can the school, for example, develop a guideline? Kasi I saw one Zoom comment also. The student will be placed in a not good standing So is it possible that we can develop a sort of arrangement with the student as a supplemental agreement that if they fail to pay the fees, then we can remove them from the continuing grantees because it's part of our manual for dishonesty, so to speak. No, so that's the second one. And the third question, third ko total, madali lang naman tong third question, sir. Sana ba yun? Okay, so yung relative to that, so the school can now develop new guidelines for the second semester, starting the second semester on the TES. A while ago, there were mention of IDs. Actually, we have not even released kasi hindi sila mapicturan because of the COVID. So I don't know. I hope LANDBANK will be able to accommodate the IDs of students at least yung previous school year for the application. You're saying it's going to take effect second sem, and it's very difficult to bring in students to be photographed for a new ID. For this, probably what we could have will be the first year, but for those continuing branches in the second to the fourth year, I hope LANDBANK will accommodate the IDs that were in the previous semester muna for them to facilitate the opening of the LANDBANK account. Last na, sir, last na also. What about those students who already have existing? Is this TES LANDBANK card an exclusive one for TES, or if they have already a LANDBANK account, can they use that and shift that to the TES card? Yun lang, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you po, ma'am. So I think I'll answer the first two, and then yung second, yung first and third question, and then yung second, I'll have to ask our LANDBANK partners to answer it. So the first is if the HEI can remove the grantees from the continuing as continuing grantees, no, based if they can develop a guidelines on it, no. So gusto ko lang po ibasahin din ulit yung kanina po, ma'am, na in our guidelines po, in our sharing agreement, basically ito po yung guidelines na inapprove ng ating board, no? So we cannot go against it, no, or create our own that goes against this guideline kasi approved po ito ng board. So yung qualifications and eligibility po ng ating grantees is na nakapaloob din po doon. So ang ating region, ang ating mga regional coordinators, doon din po sila magbe-base based on those qualifications and eligibility. So the only way na pwedeng matanggal natin yung continuing grantee as a grantee is kung matanggal po siya, kung na-valid, kung na ano bang like na disqual or paano ba na hindi niya na attain yung eligibility set by the guidelines, no. But it is also stated there, no, na it's in accordance, the student shall be obliged to pay the difference in accordance with the policy of the private HEI. So I think this is anong policy lang na binibigay dito in accordance with the policy of the private HEI is to oblige the student to pay the difference. But I think in terms of kung pwede ba nating i-delist yung ating existing grantees based on your guidelines created by the school, I think hindi po pwede yun kasi meron pong eligibility and meron pong qualifications na siniset yung UNIFAS board kung sino lang pwedeng makapagpatuloy as continuing grantees and sino lang yung pwedeng ma-delist, no. So I think nandun naman po doon, no, kung I think familiar naman po kayo sa ating sa qualifications sa atin, no, that yung dapat enrolled, yung dapat hindi nag-drop. So I think nasa school na po yan on how they can implement how can they do that, no, in terms of implementing or formulating guidelines to really oblige their student, no? But in terms of yun nga po, no, we cannot go above or beyond the guidelines set by the approved by the FAST board po. And the third question, in addition na lang din po, no. So I think, no, I guess po, I believe na kung ano po yung Senate natin, I think the question is how do we also oblige our non-grantees student, no, yung mga regular students natin and the grantees. I think that's also a way that we can implement or oblige our grantee student kasi same lang naman po sila na student ng school natin nag-enroll. So yun po. And then the third is yung question about if kung may existing ng LANDBANK accounts or saving accounts yung ating schools, no, for their grantees, how can they, kailangan pa rin ba nilang kumuha Yes po, the answer is kailangan din po nilang kumuha kasi this would be yung LANDBANK TES card po kasi ma'am and our participants, no, this is the card na approved by the Unifast board also. So in our board meetings, this was approved. This would be used, no, as the official card na gagamitin to disburse the TES fund, the TES grants. So this would be the official na magiging card na gagamitin. So if meron tayong kasi this is a prepaid card also, this is not a savings account card. So this is a very different card po from yung nakuha po natin or na-open po siguro natin na mga LANDBANK cards for students. So yun pong savings account also, that's a Visa card po if mapapansin nyo po. Yung ating LANDBANK TES card is a Mastercard po na prepaid card. So we really need to, in our previous orientations also, our LANDBANK partners emphasize this na we really need to require our student grantees to apply for the LANDBANK TES card despite kahit na may ano na sila, kahit may existing savings account na sila. Kasi dito lang ang only card na magdi-disburse ng TES grants. And then I think the second question is yung IDs, kung kailangan bang updated, kung pwede bang yung previous na SEM or academic year na ID, pwede pa bang magamit yun? As I've said earlier po, we are heavily based din po sa rules and procedures ng opening of bank account ng LANDBANK. So I think I would defer po sa ating partners sa LANDBANK. If ma'am, okay lang po ba if previous SEM or previous academic year na ID yung gagamitin?
Can I answer?
Yes po ma'am.
Hello? Yes. We refer the matter to the servicing branch of CHED kay Rodel. So according to him, we can use the old ID, but if possible, we can support it with barangay certification. Or if the student cannot secure a barangay certification due to the pandemic, you can arrange with the branch to present if they can be issued a new ID prior to during release of the card, i-present yung new ID.
Ma, pwede bang i-support ng registration card na lang? Kasi yun nga po, our students, lalo malalaking mga universities, it's difficult for them to bring in a big number of students, especially for picture taking. So baka pwedeng yung previous school year ID pero supported by the current registration card nila.
Siguro man basta sign ng school. And then nandun naman yung data ng student.
Yes.
So we'll support the ID.
Opo. Ma, what about those students who did not enroll? Sir Andrew, what about those students who did not enroll did not anymore enroll for second semester? Second, are they still required to apply for a TES LANDBANK card or hindi na po?
So we would, in that case po ma'am, we have to observe yung leave of absence na provision natin sa TES grants. Di ba one sem lang sila pwede mag-leave of absence. Dapat makapag-file sila officially ng leave of absence para officially sila ma-recognize as nag-leave of absence sila. Kasi if lalagpas sila sa one sem na mag-leave of absence sila, automatically delisted po sila as continuing grantees. No? Kung hindi, lalo na pag hindi sila nakapag-officially file, no, as ng leave of absence. No? So yun po, officially po sila madidelisted kung lalagpas sila doon sa leave of absence. But if one sem lang naman sila nag-leave of absence and then nakabalik sila, they can still be considered as continuing grantees. So the student should make the decision, no, and consider the factors involved kasi magpapatuloy ba siya the next sem, no? Or ngayon lang ba siyang sem mag-leave of absence and the next sem papasok ba siya or mag-enroll ba siya? Kasi kung hindi na niya kailangan talagang kumuha ng LANDBANK TES card kasi in the next, kung dalawang sem siya mawawala, automatically na siya delisted as a grantee. So hindi na siya pwedeng makareceive ng TES cards. And then I think may situations din, no, na may mga graduating students tayo for first sem. So kailangan pa rin ba nilang kumuha kasi second sem na nila ma-receive, di ba, yung sa LANDBANK TES card. So nasa student na din po yun, no? Kasi yung LANDBANK TES card natin, if nabigyan siya ng credential, meaning may ability siya to apply and get the LANDBANK TES card, So nasa kanya na po yun kung gusto niya ba mag-apply. Kung alam niya naman nag-graduate siya sa second sem, kasi since yung first sem natin is through disbursement through the HEI, di ba po? So yung check, payroll, ganun. So, but if gusto niya talagang kunin yung LANDBANK TS card, pwede naman niya makuha yun. Kasi may as presented earlier, no, maraming features yung ating LANDBANK TS card. Pwedeng magamit sa e-commerce, pwede mo magamit sa madaming features na present kanina. So the grantee can still use that. Pero by the time na mag-second sem na and nag-graduate na siya, wala na siya ma-receive na TES grant. But the validity naman po ng LANDBANK TES card is 5 years naman po. So pwede pa niya magamit yun for any
TS grantees a year after, or yeah, that's the during the prior to pandemic pa yun, sir. So meaning to say, we only depend na sila ay na-approve, so we became lenient to them. Even so, dahil nga na-delay po yung kanilang pera, marami rin po ang nag-drop because wala na nga rin po wala na rin po yung pamasahe nila kahit napakonti-konti lang. So ito po yung mga observation namin. Now, because we have also a separate, just you told us na we can actually apply our policy regarding, because ang payment po sa amin is periodic naman, sir. So, of course, we will treat them just the same as other na ngayon because nasa kanila yung additional na pambayad. Kasi ang mapupunta sa amin is yun lang 10,000. Yun ang direct na, am I right, na yun lang first sa semester, 10,000 lang ang mapupunta sa amin directly, correct? Tapos yung 20,000, unti-unti nyo ibibigay sa estudyante. My question is, this is okay, no? That we require them, okay, periodic, ito nang babayaran mo. Ito lang ang binigay ng So they are knowledgeable on that. Pero kulang pa, and so that para makakuha rin sila ng permit to take exam. Paano, number one, ito po yung concern ko tungkol doon sa sharing agreement. Number one, of course, they will have to enroll before we submit. After the enrollment, we submit it to your office po for approval that they will be a grantee, no? I'm talking about the non-grantee yet, okay? Sa grantee, of course, may assurance. Sa non-grantee, usually sa pag first year, marami pong nag-a-apply. So, it will take us like about a month or two para malaman na sila ay approved, okay? Even so, we did not even tell them that they are approved, they are just qualified, okay? Number 3, wala pa po yung assuming, baka naman po wala pa yung pera nila, pero mag-start na po yung prelim exam. So, yung delay po ng pera na pagpo-provide sa mga bata would also, it will also become hard for them to take the exam because may qualifying sa how much you pay before you can take the exam. So, sa public po, pwede po yun na yung 20 is less, ay yung 10,000 is lesser mostly than the yung required siyempre sa amin matataas, sa private mataas yung tuition fee. Paano kung ang kanyang tuition fee po is nga 20 kamo na halimbawa, pinobide sa amin ng 10. So ang bata magdadagdag naman talaga. So paano siya makakapag-take ng exam kung delay yung pera niya? Well, hoping na with this TES, this LANDBANK card, yung sinasabi nyo kaninang real time. Pero kung hindi masusunod yun, sir, marami pong maapektuhan na bata, even as private institution, where we only depend so much, mostly of our resources in the payment of the tuition fee of our students. So, ang bottom line, hindi to ba yan ma-revisit ang sharing agreement rules para sa private? Yun po yung tanong ko, Sir Andrew.
Sige sir, thank you po sa question po ba yan, sir, or suggestion? Thank you po sa ano niyo, sir, questions. I think siguro to provide information, sir, no. Yung ano po natin, yung disbursement po natin for the LANDBANK TES Card, no, as I've said earlier, di ba, monthly po yung disbursement natin. But for the cases po, no, like for example, ongoing na yung second sem, di ba? So for the cases po na hindi po real time or hindi po current academic year yung disbursement. So for example, yung second sem na grants natin for AY 2020-2021, na-release namin siya by the time na nag-first sem na the next academic year. So magiging ano na po yun, magiging reimbursement na po yun. So hindi na po siya magiging monthly yung crediting nun. Diretso na po yun sa school, and diretso na din po yun sa grantee. Kasi reimbursement siya. But in terms of yung kung magiging current academic year na yung disbursement nun, magiging monthly na siya. So yun naman po, no, I think kasi we are finalizing some things also on our end on processing it, on streamlining the processing of the payments, lalo na ngayon, no, with the LANDBANK TES Card. Kasi dati ang nangyayari, kahit na maaga naming natapos yung processing ng grants, no, pinapasa namin sa region, or may mga cases na nasa region siya dumadaan yung funds, and diretso sa HEI. But what happens is natatagalan sa HEI, mostly natatagalan sa HEI kasi siyempre may mga papers din silang pinaprocess. So kahit manatapos na namin, for ilang months hindi pa rin nare-release sa bata or sa grantees kasi may piniprepare pa yung ating mga schools or HEIs, no, for siguro liquidation reports or liquidation documents to release it to the grantees. But with this system, once we finish the processing of the grants, immediately, pag authorized na kami to release that, the Unifast can release that immediately to the grantee. So yung lag time po doon, yung processing time po doon, mawawala na siya. So magiging mas mabilis na po yung pag-receive ng mga grants ng mga bata with that. Even with that current system. But we are also, of course, we are also streamlining, finding ways to streamline it more para mas mapabilis natin yung pag-release ng grants. And sorry sir, ano pa po yung ulit na ano ni sir? May another question pa po ba kayo nakasunod doon?
Sir, yung po sa sharing agreement para sa private, kung ang suggestion ko po doon, kung actual tuition fee ang i-charge na, yung pupunta na sa amin, hindi lang 10,000 para, yes, kasi yun po, para lang ma-apply yung provision na yun.
Kung pwede na
para hindi na rin po hirap yung mga bata. Okay. Tsaka kami, you're providing us a good assistance between the kid and the private institution as well.
Sige po sir, I will take note of that sir, and I will try to raise this to our executive director para ma-raise natin ma-try to bring into discussion sa ating board yung portion na to. Thank you so much for that sir.
Okay, so thank you everyone for your questions, and we would like to apologize for those questions we could not address at this time, but we could still respond to your questions through email or through a message to our Facebook page, or we will try to respond to you in our comments section. Okay, so thank you very much, Sir Andrew, for sharing with us your responses, and also to our land bank representatives for shedding light on some of these issues. Okay, so now we would like to move on to our closing remarks to wrap up our presentation for today. So we would like to call in Engineer Angelica Q. Dolores, our Chief Program Specialist at CHED Region 1.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon po, ma'am.
Loud and clear ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Shorda?
Yes, ma'am. Doing good.
Yeah, you're all did very well in the presentation. Congratulations to our Unifast team of the CHED Regional Office. For the information of everyone, this is our first time to showcase this at our smart studio of the CHED Regional Office. So, yung medyo may mga kaba-kaba, but I think it was well presented. Pwede na tayong magkaroon ng TV show. Congratulations, no? So, in behalf of the Commission on Higher Education, Regional Office 1, under, of course, the leadership of our newly appointed Regional Director, Dr. Rogelio T. Galera Jr., we extend our deepest gratitude to all of our school heads and UNIFAS coordinators of all our private HEIs, as well as our state universities and colleges, for your continued cooperation and support in all of our undertakings to ensure that our students are well supported and assisted as we go through the processing of their tertiary education subsidy grants. To our student grantees, we hope that we were able to enlighten you with the TES program, the features of the LANDBANK TES Card, and the work process for the releasing of stipends via the LANDBANK TES Card. Our gratitude also to the Executive Director of the UNIFAS Secretariat, Attorney Ryan L. Estevez. Sir, thank you for all the support to us here in Region 1. And biggest thanks, of course, to the land bank officers who joined us today in our orientation. Thank you so much. With you as our partners, we know we will be able to achieve our desire to provide quality service to our TES grantees. We look forward to having more partnerships with you for the benefit of our students. Again, maraming salamat po. Keep safe, everyone. Bye.
Thank you po, ma'am, for your
Congrats
message.
again, UNIFAS
Thank you
team.
po. Yay!
Tapos na.
Okay, so thank you very much, Engineer Angelica Dolores, for helping us to wrap up our orientation. And once again, we would like to thank our participants today, especially those from the UNIFAS Central joining us, Attorney Ryan Estevez, and of course to Sir Andrew Begafria for your presentation and for addressing many of our concerns. So at this juncture, before we go, we would like to request a photo opportunity with everyone present here today. So we would like to request everyone to please turn on your cameras and give us time to snap screenshots for each page. Okay, so everyone, please turn on your cameras and we'll take a picture. Okay. Okay, wow. So we have 171 participants joining us today. So thank you everyone for your time and for making this event successful and meaningful for all of us. Okay. So let us give everyone time to turn on their cameras. Don't be shy. Okay. So just smile. Okay. Yeah, so we are now in the 4th page. Okay, so 5th. Oh, there are quite a lot. Okay, how many pages are there altogether? Oh, we are now in the last page. Okay, so thank you everyone for your time and for your participation. And this has been your host, Jordan Hernandez. And please keep safe and God bless us all. Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye everyone. Thank you to all.
Congrats, Region 1. Thank you.
Okay, so